One versus ones, they're isolated the flames. This is disastrous for Cloud9. Surely not like this. Mixwell 1 versus 5. It's not gonna happen.
TenZ, the only thing he does is play that map. It's like, whatever.
Yeah, you play with some...
like, he's not even number 1 and he plays it all the time.
I actually got really, really depressed when I noticed everyone was like saying mean stuff about me. And that's actually one of the reasons why like I stopped playing Counter-Strike entirely.
Well, now TenZ has been called out, but that's not going to be a problem for TenZ. Looks for one. Now TenZ in 1v2. Gets another one. Is he going to find him? Yes, he does!
It's Marshall and it's TenZ. So you don't count it out. Oh my gosh, you don't count it out! He's got the frenzy, and he's got a kill. Man, all up in Moose's face, and he's getting a jumping one as well onto Thief. I said this the first time I called TenZ. This is his world, and we're just living in it.
TenZ really feels like a once-in-a-lifetime type player that has like a drastic impact and a shift in the way the game is played and the way the game is thought about. You think about some of the best to ever do it across any esport, you kind of have to put TenZ in that conversation.
Magnum's in the smoke here. TenZ. Oh my god! Magnum's got no HP. Not like this. Sentinels. They're gonna get the defuse. They've done it. Sentinels are the Masters 2 Reykjavik champions.
It's hard to embrace the unknown. It's even harder when you yourself are an unknown too.
This move from TenZ right here, there's no way he expects him. TenZ, what a fucking round, bro. What was that? C9! Where are you at, bitches? Sign this man.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm TenZ. Tyson, no?
TenZ wasn't exactly a huge name in CSGO, and when C9 signed him, many weren't sure how he'd pan out.
Being like fresh blood and like coming into Cloud9 is like without like any real prior experiences, kind of like crazy.
But crazy was exactly what Cloud9 was looking for. And in fairness, signing young, unproven talent had worked before.
Guardian waits patiently as Cloud9 sets the push up. Oh, it's happened! They made it work! Cloud9 are your E-League Major champions!
Unfortunately, C9's glory days were long behind them. They needed a massive shakeup. And so, joining Automatic were Daps, Kusta, Mixwell, and TenZ.
What did I tell you, man? This guy with the Deagle's absolutely devastating. Can he do it again? He won't, but he surely has done enough.
There's 15 seconds to plant a bomb, and that might be the saving grace for Cloud9 to be pushing all over the map. There's TenZ with a Deagle once again. He needs to stay alive. He's got to buy time for his team. Street's cutting off the rotation. There's another one from TenZ. Can he get the last one? It's time he's won the round of all these Deagle shots. The bomb can't be planted, and that's a much-needed last round for Cloud9.
The roster had plenty of firepower, but it wasn't always deployed effectively.
1 versus 1, they're isolated the flames. This is disastrous for Cloud9. Surely not like this. Mixwell 1 versus 5. It's not gonna happen.
And they seemed mentally weak at times, crumbling in situations that might have been routine for a more veteran squad.
He manages that opening pick. He needs to get the quad kill to close this, and he's just 1 kill away. Tarek going to be going for the diffuser, but I think, is he even going to stop him? He's going to go for the knife, but doesn't quite get there. Tarek is going to be there to close out the round. And that is going to be EG taking the victory 2-0.
By the end of October, TenZ was benched, and at the end of the year, he announced he'd become a streamer for C9. But TenZ still had one more shot ahead of him, so he looked down the sights and squeezed the trigger. So what's going through TenZ's mind at this point then?
Well, he's kind of a washed up CS player, so there aren't really that many options there. And he has this sort of slowly growing, but somewhat profitable stream. And yet he decides to jump headfirst into a new game.
This is kind of a big deal, right? Because he's been playing CS for his whole career, and Valorant, on the other hand, is not exactly a proven thing.
On the one hand, yes, leaping into a brand new game, it's obviously going to be a big deal. But on the other hand, he wasn't the only one. There are a lot more established, tried and true North American talent that were looking to jump to Valorant for what was ostensibly a payday. The thing about TenZ, though, is if he goes and shirks content creation, takes on a new game, and fails again, that's a disaster.
So why even make the switch then at that point? I mean, is it even viable?
The thing about TenZ is everyone knew about his aim. This guy had the raw talent to be a pro. but he just didn't have the other stuff you needed to win matches.
Right, so things like how well he works with a team, how well he can handle criticism or stress, how well he can communicate, the sort of intangibles, really.
Yeah, you can't win CSGO tournaments just clicking heads, right? And even though Cloud9 wasn't exactly stable at the time, it really was sink or swim for TenZ, and he sunk.
Right, and he sort of said this himself as well, didn't he? Like, he was just thrust into this whole thing with no real pro experience based solely on his aim.
And it was that aim that made him a fun content creator to watch and made him such a valuable prospect in the Valorant world. The whole community knew that they hadn't seen his ceiling on stage, and we wanted to see it.
So basically, this is a guy who abandoned a burgeoning content creation career. He made a switch to a new game with no real guarantee that his skills were transferable, and the last time he tried to go pro, it was a total disaster.
Totally. Like, this was a complete step into the unknown.
TenZ was the first member signed to Cloud9's Valorant team. And almost as soon as he dove into this new world, it was clear. He was ready to leave his mark.
I got the spike. 3. 1 enemy remaining.
What the f?
Silence.
That's pretty prog.
Oh, one left.
1 enemy remaining.
No, that's the TenZ that I know.
TenZ rose to the top of the rank ladder, achieving rank 1 on the North American Valorant server, the highest in the game at the time.
Oh, boys, let's f***ing go!
Valor, baby!
The hype for TenZ as the game's first superstar continued to build, and the rest of Cloud9's roster took shape around him.
Well, now TenZ has been called out, but that's not going to be a problem for TenZ. Looks for one. Now TenZ in a 1v2. Gets another one. Is he going to find him? Yes, he does! TenZ gives Cloud9 the lead. What a play!
But once again, TenZ fell short on the big stage.
TenZ up in the air. Oh, hits the hips. The elevation catches him off guard, and Gamon's able to get that kill.
Oh, man, so smart there, too. Guimont just got out of there. He was not trying to deal with this. All he has is this turret to work with. Can Mitch clutch this one out? Both players are going to be to the left side. One's by the default box, but no. Instead, it's player one who picks up the kill, and Gen G win the game.
Ultimately, TenZ wasn't accomplishing what he wanted. So despite his emerging superstar status, he decided to take a step back again.
So stepping down from the team is a personal choice of mine, and I'm just really excited for the future of what this game holds in the competitive scene. I know that Riot's going to continue to support it, and all the fans are going to continue to support it. I'm definitely going to be keeping my eyes on this competitive scene.
That might have been the last we heard of TenZ competitively for a while. Sure, he was still streaming and putting up real worthy highlights.
Oh, it's so good.
But a huge part of the excitement around TenZ was his fans wanting to see his terrifying aim unleashed at the pro level. That hadn't really happened yet, but it was about to, and it resulted in one of the greatest stand-in performances ever. Okay, so remind me again how this whole thing fell into place.
So back in March of 2021, Sentinels found themselves in need of a last-minute stand-in right before Masters 1.
I remember the hype for this tournament was just unreal. It was like through the roof because it felt like one of the first really important tournaments that actually had circuit points. Like, this thing mattered.
Absolutely, and Sentinels really wanted results. So they reached out to C9 and TenZ, but the buyout was huge.
I seem to remember it being something insane, like they wanted $250,000 to just rent TenZ until the end of May.
I mean, yeah, that was the alleged number, and then there were also reports that it was gonna cost them $2 million to buy out his whole contract.
It's kind of funny though, because knowing what we know now about TenZ, kind of seems like it was worth it.
Yeah.
With less than 24 hours before the start of the tournament and no real practice, Sentinels finalized their roster.
I think I woke up one day and I just looked at my Twitter DM and Shaz messaged me and said, hey, you want to fill in for a tourney? I was like, okay.
Much of the burden of making this drastically new system work immediately fell to in-game leader Shazam Khan, a veteran who had been grinding in North American Counter-Strike for years. And his work paid off. Shazam unlocked TenZ in a way no one ever had before.
He's got the frenzy, and he's got a kill. Man, all up in Moose's face, and he's getting a jumping one as well on the beef. I said this the first time I called TenZ. This is his world, and we're just living in it. Stick with an excellent curveball. Asunu drops. 3 members remaining on the side. 100 Thieves make that 2 as Sentinels look to put 100 Thieves away. Steel and Hiko, no, it's just Steel. TenZ with the Blade Storm looking to take down the remaining members. Steel, what magic do you have in your hat? It's not gonna be enough. A flawless round. Sentinels 2-0 100 Thieves.
They smell blood, it's in the water, and they want to finish it off, and TenZ is looking to do it in style. Mark, 2 HP left. Here comes a dagger with his name on it, but it's going to be sick. Who's going to get it done? And that's a wrap. 3-0 Grand Final. Sentinels are the champions.
It's honestly pretty crazy to think about just how fast this all happened.
Yeah, I mean, this guy goes from washed up CSGO player to the hottest name in Valorant in just 1 year.
And he's still loved now. He's still celebrated to this day, right?
Yeah, and I think all of that started right there at Masters 1. You know, it's one thing to go on a run with a stand-in. It's another thing to go on a run where you pick up a player 24 hours before the tournament with no practice. I mean, that's nuts.
How did Shazam take this kid that, let's be honest, failed to live up to his potential when the chips were down, and then turn him into someone who can not only function, but excel?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? We don't totally know how the stars aligned, right? On one side, you've got Shazam, right? You have this IGL that you like, that you trust, that you can rely on. But on the other side, maybe it was just that the pressure was off. You know, for once, TenZ wasn't gunning for some big roster spot on a massive team. He wasn't even really trying to make Sentinels. He was ready to pack it up and go back to content creation.
And without that pressure, he could just get back to doing what he does best.
And I think it's pretty safe to say at this point that he got back to clicking heads the way we now know he can.
Now, TenZ was only on loan to Sentinels, but after a performance that impressive, they really wanted to keep him.
Things were up in the air. I remember through stage 1 and stage 2, we didn't know how much longer we had Tyson for.
I definitely thought, damn, this team is sick. I kind of want to stay, if I could. But I was just like, damn, realistically, I'm probably gonna have to go back to content creation. Feels bad, man.
TenZ was seemingly open to staying, but as soon as the tournament was over, the roster hit a different snag.
They're down a player, health bars are low. Will looking to spray through the smoke, taking some damage in response. Pure on the flank, finds one. The defuse now being stuck by Shazam. No, he's forced to hop off. The kills will come through, and there it is. BBG first across the finish line, and they dethrone the NA King.
The team flubbed out in the next qualifier, and although it wasn't their last chance, with TenZ's loan coming to an end, it was seemingly their last shot with him.
Yeah, so we thought it was the last game. So the conversation was funny. Looking back on it now, kind of depressing in the moment, but it's like, damn, we just lost in the qualifier. It was a good run, guys. Thanks for the invitation, man.
But Sentinels weren't ready to give up TenZ, so they confirmed that he will be playing with the squad through the end of Masters 2. And that tournament was gonna be a big one. Stage 2 Masters Reykjavik was the biggest international tournament Valorant had seen to date. Sentinels earned a qualification spot, but there was some uncertainty about how they perform, or at least there was, until TenZ stepped onto the server.
And it doesn't look like they're able to stop TenZ. He's going to own absolutely everybody that tries to walk into this site.
If they use that much, but then they don't have too much to take the site over, and TenZ continues to go to work.
Sentinels didn't drop a single map as they plowed through the bracket, ultimately facing Fnatic in the grand finals. It was a huge, high-pressure stage, the kind that TenZ's critics would have placed far beyond the ability of a choker to handle. But they couldn't call him that anymore after Reykjavik.
Shazam has to go to the site, gets concussed, has to be great on his first bullet.
Oh my god!
Oh, how on earth has he done that? The rebel clutch from Shazam is phenomenal. Jewel, oh hello, TenZ is going to find Magnum.
Oh my word!
Fantastic follow-up.
Oh my god, he gets flashed!
The team flash! The team flash! Magnum's in the smoke here, TenZ.
Oh my god!
Magnum's got no HP, not like this! Sentinels, they're going to get the defuse. They've done it. Sentinels are the Masters 2 Reykjavik champions!
TenZ nabbed the first ever international championship in Valorant. But maybe even more importantly to TenZ, he finally had somewhere he belonged.
I feel wonderful. This team is amazing, and I feel right at home with them. And hopefully I can continue playing with them, because this
this is the best team I've ever played on.
You just found out that you're joining the Sentinels full time. Tell me how you feel about it.
It's amazing. I'm at a loss of words. That's double good things that's happened today. We won, and then I want Sentinels.
Sentinels have seen their fair share of struggles and roster changes since their incredible triumph in Iceland. But through it all, at least so far, TenZ has remained. He's still beloved, even if his results have started to slip.
I just have to say, I heckin' love TenZ.
I heckin' love TenZ.
TenZ is still one of the most adored names in Valorant, the NA hero that everyone wants to see rise up again. He's not a failed prodigy anymore, he's a fan favorite, and he couldn't have done it without taking that first big risk.
Thanks for watching. If you want more content like this, hit the sub button and ring the notification bell. For unique, bite-sized videos you won't find anywhere else, hit us up on our Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.